Buongiorno! My name is Kristina, and I'm excited to take you through a virtual tasting of the wines imported by Santa Margherita, USA. To start with, did you know that Santa Margherita is a family-owned winery? It is! We have the third and fourth generation of Marzotto family running the company today. In fact, the villa you see on the label is of the historical Marzotto family home located in Portoguaro, Italy. Santa Margherita is a family-run company, and at its heart, Santa Margherita is a story of love and respect. If you have the Pinot Grigio in your glass, go ahead and taste it while I tell you the story of Santa Margherita, because Santa Margherita was an actual woman. The winery dates back to 1935 when our founder, Count Gaetano Marzotto, established a multi-purpose agricultural community in the Venetian countryside. Here, Gaetano raised dairy, cattle, grew grains, vegetables, and fruit, including grapes. And as I like to say, Gaetano was a very, very smart man. He named the winery operations after his wife, Margherita Marzotto. So it's a love story. But Santa Margherita is also a story of respect because, yes, Gaetano built these farms and he also built the community for the people who work the land, including housing, schools, sports facilities, and with the community so close to the farm, Santa Margherita has been eco-friendly before it was fashionable. And even today, we continue to take truly sustainable choices, including the use of solar power, reductions in our carbon footprint, and even using natural products in the vineyards. Also, all of our wines are vegan friendly. We stopped using animal products in the winery many, many years ago. So, like I said, at its heart, Santa Margherita is a story of love and respect. It's a man's love for his wife and respect for the land and the people who work the land. Now let me tell you about what's going on in the glass. So Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio is 100% Pinot Grigio from the mountainous region of the Adige River Valley in northeast Italy. So right away, you get that sense in the glass. It's very, very fresh with bright citrus and apple aromas. And on the palate, it's got really vivid acidity, which is one of the reasons I think that Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio goes so well with so many different cuisines. The wines really freshen your palate and get you ready for the next bite. And let's talk about Pinot Grigio grape for a minute. So Pinot Grigio is a natural mutation of the red Pinot Noir grape. In fact, the Grigio means gray, and the skins of the Pinot Grigio grape itself can be rather dark. You know, they're not quite red, they're not quite white, but most commonly sort of a copper color. Because of these dark skins, Pinot Grigio in Italy was traditionally fermented like a red wine. But did you know it was in 1961 that Santa Margherita was among the first Italian wineries to vinify Pinot Grigio off of its copper-colored skins, thereby really enhancing the freshness of the fruit and bringing out the wine's enormous versatility. Moving on to our next wine, if you have the Torresella Pinot Grigio to taste as well, you're totally in for a treat. Since 1935, the Marzotto family has grown to encompass several wineries that represent some of the most authentic areas of Italy today. And so Torresella is a winery that they founded in the early 1980s, very near to the original farms of Gaetano Marzotto. In fact, Torresella was the name of Gaetano's dairy farm. And if you think back to 1935, what was the common ingredient between milk and wine? Glass bottles. And in fact, did you know that Santa Margherita today has a glassworks facility and makes their own glass bottles? It's just another example of our eco-friendly credentials. So instead of shipping empty glass bottles from distant places, the glassworks facility is just steps away from the bottling line. And so Torresella here in particular has a strong commitment to the environment, including the use of lightweight bottles, using natural products in the vineyard. And the winery itself has been energy self-sufficient since 2012. But of course, the best part is the taste. So compared to Santa Margherita Pinot Grigio, Torresella's vineyards, they are located about an hour outside of Venice, closer to the warm Adriatic Sea, and that difference in climate is expressed in the glass, even though both wines are made from 100% Pinot Grigio. So as opposed to that more vivid freshness of Santa Margherita, Torresella shows more juicy acidity, and the fruits themselves are a little bit sort of riper, reflecting that warmer climate. So Santa Margherita, I find more like golden delicious apple, but Torresella to me is more just red apple and pears and stuff like that. But it's really that juicy profile that makes this a great wine to have on hand to pair with everything from your takeout on Tuesday night. It's actually really good with sushi, you guys. But like salads and pizzas and fish tacos, stuff like that, you know. So Torresella's Pinot Grigio is really flexible with a lot of pairing possibilities. Prosecco is Italy's best known sparkling wine, and for good reason. It's fruity, it's bubbly, it's fresh, and Torresella's Prosecco is grown, again, about an hour outside of Venice in certified sustainable vineyards. And we didn't talk about it before, but I think you're probably more familiar with organic farming. So sustainability is another form of farming that shares the same goals as organics, which is to nourish the soils and really to coexist with nature as opposed to, you know, dominating it. And so sustainability is slightly different as it also incorporates social goals not directly addressed through organics alone. It's more science-based and considers things like climate change and greenhouse gases and waste management. In fact, there's a local bird called garzetta that's on the label. In English, we would call that the little egret. And that speaks to our commitment to sustainability and the environment. But how does it taste? Torresella's Prosecco is defined by its clean, fresh fruit flavors of the Glera grape, which Glera is the main grape in the Prosecco region. And our Prosecco gets its bubbles from the Charmat or the tank method, which is again common to the area. And this method really helps us to emphasize the peaches and cream, apricot aromas and flavors. On the palate, the bubbles are almost creamy in nature. It's a joyful sparkling wine. And the extra dry on the label means that the wine is delicately sweet, which is exactly what I love about Prosecco. It's that perfect wine to start off the evening, or more traditionally, the lazy brunch with friends. Torresella's Prosecco is my little black dress in the fridge, meaning it's the bubbly I have on hand for quick celebrations, little wins. But it also, that delicate fruitiness it means that this is the wine that's perfect for when I'm grazing at home, you know, making a plate of maybe hummus with some olives. I'm maybe reinventing my leftovers. The Prosecco is a really lovely wine when even you're snacking on fresh berries or even a beautiful bowl of fruit. Who loves red wine? Did you know that Santa Margherita makes a red wine? No? Well, let me tell you about it. Santa Margherita Chianti Classico Riserva is a single vineyard wine, so there's not a lot of it out there, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get our bearings. We've left Northeast Italy and the Veneto, and now we're talking about wines that are made under the Tuscan sun. So Santa Margherita's Chianti Classico Riserva is from the smaller area in the Chianti region. There's Chianti, and there's Chianti Classico. And Classico means this wine is from the historic heartland and the most respected area in the region. And that's really important and really explains the excellent quality in the wine. And so, like I said before, Chianti Classico from Santa Margherita, it's a single vineyard called Celcentino. It's just southeast of the famous village of Penzano, if you're familiar with the Mad Butcher. It's right in the heart of the Chianti Classico region. It's in the Greve subregion, if you're more familiar with the Chianti Classico area. And so the Sangiovese that we grow here in Santa Margherita's vineyards tend to give really small clusters, which gives you a high skin to juice ratio, which means this is going to be a wine with a very firm structure. Also, about 15% of the wine is a blend of Merlot and Cabernet Sauvignon. So it's a really complex wine. And also the word Riserva in Chianti Classico Riserva has meaning. In this region, Riserva means mandatory aging. And here the Merlot and the Cabernet are aged for 2 years in new French oak, which gives that really attractive vanilla spice notes to the wine, really framing the red and dark fruits. It's a really hedonistic wine. Berry fruits, licorice, little toastiness from the oak, like I said, really firmly structured. This is going to be perfect with robust dishes like barbecues and grilled meats, spicy vegetables. I had this recently with a grilled chicken with some, cracked green olives and everything. And the wine has a really long finish. I'm still tasting it, by the way. So now we're moving to the untamed side of Tuscany, the Tuscan Marema. So still in Tuscany, but we're not in the Chianti area anymore. We're actually going to be closer to the sea in an area called Maremma. This is an unspoiled area, and it's a really nice neighborhood between Montalcino and Bolgheri. So very warm and dry conditions here allow us to produce wines from Sangiovese. And so you may not know the Maremma. It's not a very well-known area. And historically, this was the land of Italian cowboys called the Butteri. This is an area that's very rugged and untamed, even when compared to Chianti. And even today, Maremma is still not very populated, nor very industrialized. In fact, it's been named one of the cleanest spots in terms of air quality in all of Italy. And so, yes, the boar still runs free in this region, but you're going to see that boar more likely in the cooking rather than guarding our grapes or anything like that. So onto the wine. We talked about Sangiovese already, and really the Sangiovese is the main grape of Tuscany. In fact, I think of Sangiovese is to Tuscany the way Cabernet Sauvignon is to Napa. You know what I'm saying? So the wine we're talking about right now, Sassoregale, is 100% Sangiovese from this unspoiled area in Tuscany. And I have a crush on this wine. The Sassoregale Sangiovese is dangerously easy to drink. Being closer to the sea, it's a little bit warmer than Chianti, so full-bodied. It's got this dense core of red cherry fruit, blackberry, and then it's aged in large vessels. So really a focus more on the purity of fruit with a little complexity like nutmeg and earthiness and stuff like that. And by the way, this warm and dry area has allowed us to farm organically, and we've been certified organic in the vineyard since 2017 here, but dangerously easy to drink. Bold without being heavy. It's that kind of red wine you can drink on its own, or it's really going to do well with really hearty dishes. You're like grilled calamari with maybe like a smoked paprika aioli, or even ravioli stuffed with fresh ricotta and a tomato sauce, or I guess in this case, if you could do it with a meat sauce made from wild boar, it would pair even better. Just saying. My name is Kristina Sazama. I'm the wine educator for Santa Margherita, USA. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you enjoyed tasting and learning about our family of wines today. Cheers!